Eventually, if I sit in a room for enough time, alone, directionless, and with no distractions, my brain will travel to the darkest of voids, a place where even the thought of existence fades away, a place that is so devoid of all feeling, I wonder if I am even breathing. Maybe the winter madness has set in a little earlier this year. Nothing exists for any reason except to simply exist. Meaning can be found in meaninglessness, sure, but you have to search for it. These are all things I can live with. These are all things I believe to be true with no hesitation. I have spent enough time in a bottomless pit. I am comfortable to live with no purpose or reason for things existing. I have learned to not dwell on such big ideas that do not serve any function other than to highlight my own mortality. This is all great, but sometimes something like this comes up. Simply put, this car should not exist. There is no reason that this car should have ever been built, and there was never a reason for me to ever buy one. Even with accepting that everything exists for nothing, this car still makes no sense. This is my new daily driver that has taken the place of my old Volvo 850. This is my 2001 Audi TT Quattro. The Audi was supposed to compete with the BMW Z4, the Mercedes SLK, and let's not kid ourselves, it was inevitable to compete with the Miata and the 370Z. But why? If you want a fast VW, just get a Golf R. That was always Volkswagen's answer to the Roadster question. A hatchback. Why make a 2+2 coupe Roadster option? Just buy an S4. Or fork up the money and get a Porsche Boxster. Well, you could make the argument that this was cheaper than the Porsche, barely. These were $35,000 in 2001. The Boxster was $42,000. But why compete within your own company? I just don't understand a German car with Italian lines designed by an American named after a British motorcycle race existing for any reason except to just exist. To talk about this car, we must step back and suspend our disbelief. This car does exist and has spawned 2 more generations, all sharing the same general philosophy. Take essentially some Volkswagen Golf-esque platform, offer a couple engine options, and have a beautiful body on top. A simple parts bin formula. This is the first generation of the Audi TT. It was offered in exactly 6 different ways. You either get a Roadster or a 2+2 coupe. You get a 1.8 turbo with front-wheel drive, 180 horsepower. The same 1.8 turbo with all-wheel drive and 225 horsepower, which is what this one is, or the VR6. They almost all came with manuals, thank goodness. Some were autos, but just get the manual. That's the point of this car. I bought this beautiful example in a little dealership in Arkansas. This will be the last time I ever buy a car at a dealership. Look, I might be somewhat insane. I'm self-loathing, basement-dwelling, and definitely a leech, but I know cars. Things like random check engine lights or some bad wiring, that doesn't scare me. One of the headlights had bad wiring, so instead of just letting me know, he took the damn bulbs out. Ex-cop, by the way, ex-freaking cop, took the headlight bulbs out. He knew it was a 4-hour drive back up, and he still pulled them out. The downstream O2 sensor was bad as well. Why would you clear the code? It's a downstream O2 sensor. Just tell me it's not that hard, or show me on the scanner if you're really that paranoid. I was clearly going to buy the car. I had every intention to buy the car. For God's sakes, man, I'm not some 16-year-old buying a 22-year-old Audi thinking it's going to be flawless. I'm not that stupid. Even out of the service, he's baiting me to get a ticket. Typical. Freaking typical. This particular car was a Southern one-owner 100,000-mile car. Had a 50,000-mile service done with proof. Naturally, the first thing I did, which everyone should do with any used car, is a full service. Timing belt, tensioners, accessory belt, water pump, thermostat housing, air filter, spark plugs, oil filters, fuel filter, gear fluid, diff fluid, and my favorite for this particular car is the Halodex fluid. Being in the Midwest, when people hear about all the things I had to change, I had one of two comments. Oh, that must have cost thousands of dollars. It's an Audi. Or, my Silverado F350 Yeehaw Diesel Edition only takes oil every couple years and it runs flawlessly. This mindset is why people drive reliable cars and still get broken down every 2 weeks. No, your car does not run flawlessly, and no, it was not thousands of dollars. It was $600 of fluids, the fancy wrench, and a new sexy K&N filter. This 20 valve is simply a Volkswagen 1.8 with a Borg-Warner turbo and a different head. This car is not expensive to keep maintained. And to that second point, if you simply did oil changes, it would probably be fine. Sure, fair point. Yes, the turbo would probably go out before you snapped a timing belt. Maybe. It's hard to say. But instead of blowing something up, it's much easier to do the work and spend a couple $100 and make a habit out of it. So after the maintenance, let's talk about the elephant in the room. My choice of wheels. These are OZ Racing Rally wheels. Has this car ever been in a rally? No. Has Audi TTs ever been in a rally? Not really. Is there any rally prestige around this name? Besides the Quattro badge, no. They just look cool, and I couldn't afford the BBS wheels. Don't get me wrong, the factory wheels look great, but I wanted a set for winter and for summer because this is my daily driver. The tires I chose for my summer tires are Toyo Proxy R1Rs, which are about as race tire as you can go and still daily it, and they have been fantastic tires. After wheels and tires, I got the Stage 1 APR tune. This was not necessary. It was purely to stroke my own ego. Is the car faster? Absolutely. But it's the responsiveness that was most improved more than anything. If I wanted a sausage measuring contest, I would have bought a 3 Series or C-Class or GTO or anything with displacement and tall gears. At the end of the day, this is a sports car. It is not a GT. It is not a sports saloon. This car can't go faster than 125, at least on the roads that I've taken it on. This car was engineered to set your cruise at 110 on the Autobahn and never have to let off for a corner. Though the car weighs 3,075 pounds, it handles as smooth as a heroin addict flirting with the local crackhead. Even with the all seasons and factory wheels, it flies around corners flawlessly. The torque vectoring front to rear feels like any modern all-wheel drive car around every corner. It's incredible that this car is 22 years old and still drives like it does. Existence and life in general can be ugly. We do our best to make our homes presentable. We go to the gym and shape our bodies into something desirable. It's in our nature to want to look at pretty things. You could make the argument that's why we are so infatuated by art and the flow that cars create. But I have owned this car for a little under a year now, and I still look back when I park. The smooth lines and low, wide stance is truly a spectacular thing to look at. This may get me in trouble, but I'm going to say it. It looks Italian. I know you can make the argument, say it kind of looks like a Boxer from the back if you squint at it right, and sort of a Beetle in the front end. This is true, but I don't know. To me, the red curving flow is very Italian. When people think of German cars, I don't think this is the shape that comes to mind. This is, at least in my opinion, a very pretty and beautiful car. I stand by my color choice and my wheels. It is a nice thing to look at. The design was so ahead of its time. People always seem shocked when I tell them it's over 20 years old. It's okay to like pretty things. Sometimes, at least coming from a guy's perspective, we are scared to like something because it looks good. We are scared to ignore what's inside for the much more hollow reality with our fondness for physical appearance. Traditionally, this car, along with the Miata, Paganis, the Fiat Spider, what else? The first Mustang, even, were all seen as very feminine cars, or in extreme examples, were seen as cars only to be driven by women. This mindset has led our roadways to become gray and black reminders of the harsh ugliness of existence rooted in true reality. It's okay to like pretty things. The sooner you can realize that, the sooner you can enjoy a more bearable, brighter existence. This car is the physical representation of being in the moment. When you find true human connection, it can be easy to be caught up in the specifics. Same with life. Will she want to date me after this? Why are we here? Does she ever want to see me again? What is the true meaning of life? I'm here to tell you, even if we knew the answers to these questions, it wouldn't make anything easier or more enjoyable. Why are we here? It doesn't matter. Be a damn good person and enjoy beautiful things. Will she want to date me after this? It doesn't matter. Pull her close, stop talking, and tell her how beautiful she is. Just feel the warmth of true connection and enjoy the ever fleeting moment of true beauty.